Today I will be scrambling the Radio 3 Octahedron. This is the octahedral version of the Radio 3, designed by Sangria Puzzles. And I've already done the cubic version. I've already have a video on that, and I've already scrambled the dodecahedron and icosahedron off camera just because the cube, the octahedron, and the tetrahedron I think are the most unique since they shapeshift and they're pretty rare and no one has really seen them. So I'm going to be showing off those three puzzles. And again, I've already done the cubic version. The tetrahedron will come later, but first we're going to do the octahedron. So just like the cube, I'm going to be doing the same strategy in scrambling it and solving it, which is I'm going to be paying attention to the corners, which are these pieces right here. And I'm going to make sure that whenever I make a move, that they line up with the 5 star beams. If it can focus. And that's just to avoid jumbling. So I need to make sure this corner lines up with all 5 star beams. So what's interesting about this puzzle is that there are pieces, different piece types that look very similar. So like this corner, it looks very similar to this piece, which is actually a boomerang or a wing. And this piece is equivalent to this piece right here. So I need to make sure when scrambling and solving, I need to make sure I don't confuse this piece with the corner. And the wing is more square. You can see the corner, the points kind of come out more, where these are more flat. So that's the difference that I'm going to be paying attention to. And also, you'll notice this piece and this piece are very similar, but they're two different piece types. This is the star beam that I'm going to be paying attention to, but this is a center. So the way I know is, well, the center is longer and larger, so I just need to make sure I don't confuse this with the star beam. So with that being said, I will go ahead and scramble it. So again, I'm just going to be paying attention to each corner piece, making sure it lines up with a star beam. Now with these similar piece types, I believe it should be a bit easier to accidentally jumble it, which I'm actually not going to jumble today. I did jumble the cube, and that was a mistake. So I'm not going to be doing that today. Unless I accidentally jumble it. We'll see. Now, in terms of movement, I'll be honest, the octahedron is it's not the greatest. It's probably the worst of the series, but that's not saying it's bad at all. Like, it's definitely playable, for sure. But the other versions are definitely better. This one, it feels a little bit loose, interestingly, but again, it's not horrible. So I'm just making sure the corners all line up with the star beams. Again, I'm hoping I don't accidentally jumble it. I also got to make sure I keep the puzzle in focus in camera. interesting that the shape-shifting is kind of pretty weird. Like, it's obviously shape-shifting quite wildly, but it seems relatively contained, if that makes any sense. Like, there's only sections of it that's quite wildly shapeshifted. Like, this whole section, like, obviously I haven't gotten a full scramble yet, but I would have expected more shapeshifting by now. I'm not sure which puzzle will be harder to solve, this or the cube. That's a jumbling move. Don't want to do that. I feel like I've been scrambling this for quite some time now, and there's still huge chunks of solved pieces. I feel like it should be more scrambled than it currently is. Yeah, you can see like this whole face, like it's just completely flat. It's interesting. I would have expected more shape-shifting. I believe this should turn. I don't think I've jumbled it. One face at a time. Yeah, I'm surprised there's still so many sections that are still kind of solved. Just clumps of pieces that are together. I think there are a couple more equivalencies of pieces on this puzzle than there were on the cube, so that also might have some effect. Like these boomerangs. On the cube, you could only swap 2 boomerangs, but I think, I can't remember now, but I believe 3 or 4, I think it's 3 on the octahedron that can swap, so there should be one more of these boomerangs somewhere. And maybe a couple other pieces that have equivalencies. So maybe this puzzle will be easier to solve. Okay, I think we're just about done. I think this is going to be as shapeshifted as it can get. Yeah. So the cube, I didn't expect this at all, but yeah, there's a bunch of relatively non-shapeshifted parts because you can see that you can kind of make out a face right here. Where on the cube it was just absolute chaos. So there's a bit more organization to this puzzle, which I did not expect at all. It's very interesting. Okay, well, I think that's pretty good. Okay, I think we'll call it at that. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So again, the shape-shifting is actually pretty relatively contained. Did not expect that at all. So there it is, the scrambled Radio 3 octahedron. Just break up some of these oranges. And there it is. So the pieces, the shape-shifting on this puzzle, the pieces stick out way more than they did on the cube, but some of the faces are still relatively contained. Where on the cube, you just couldn't make out anything. It was just all chaotic. So that's a very interesting detail between the two. I will put a link in the description to the scramble of that puzzle, so check out that, and I will also put a link to where you can buy this puzzle if you want one yourself. So anyways, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the scramble of the Radio 3 tetrahedron, because that will be coming soon. So thank you for watching.